Today we're going to take a look at the brand new NECA release of the Ultimate Macready Station Survival version from the movie The Thing, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. This box art is incredible. Look at that box art. Now, first thing I want to say is if you're having a hard time finding this guy, just be patient. There's just a backup with shipping currently. Same thing with him. He was hard to find for a few months. Now you can get him right now online at Big Bad Toy Store and other sites. Same thing will happen to him. Same thing, it was madness trying to find this Jason when they first released. It just takes a while for shipping containers to get unloaded. There's a backup at the ports especially. And it takes them a while to make their way across the United States. And I'm assuming overseas is going to be getting them in, different waves and different times. So I'm not sure about overseas. But currently this guy just released a limited batch, and we're going to be getting another batch. So do not overpay. Anyhow, diving straight into this. The first version, I modded the head because they gave you like 3 different looks. You get a calm face or a normal expression. You get like a worried look, and that's just the face. And then you get the angry head, which is right here, this angry head. And what I was able to do is I was able to take the hoods off of one of them like this and then switch it out. I did a whole video, but NECA decided when they did this re-release, they would give you something they didn't do the first time, which is this head here. It is the more worried expression. Before they gave you the hood with this expression, now you have the hair with this expression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this. I put this is the one I modded. So I put this head on. I took the hood off and put the hair on. I did a whole video on it. So now I have 3 different looks of Macready where he is. This is the first release where he has the calm expression. This is the first release modified with the angry expression with the hair. And then here is the second release, what we're reviewing today, with the hair and the more worried or open mouth expression. And again, I did a dab of super gloss on the eyes to give a more realistic shine to the look. And to go along with, now this is the head that actually comes with Macready, everything here. And to go along with the different head options, they do give you a closed mouth, I don't know, a normal, standard, relaxed or something expression with the hood on. So you don't have to modify it to get that. Anyway, if that wasn't confusing enough, let's get into this guy. He is friggin' amazing. I love the movie. I know people have an issue with the likeness. Yeah, it's not dead on, but for the price range, I think they're killing it. And if you go back and actually watch the movie, I know when Kurt Russell is older, he's got a lot more, wrinkles and detail and whatever in his face. If you go back and actually watch, he's so young. He's got like just this bare skin covered by hair and beard. So I think people are overcritical with the likeness here. I think some people can be a little ridiculous with the likeness. It's not 100%, but it's not awful to where you shouldn't pick up the figure. I think if you're already collecting these movie-style knickknacks, there's no reason to not pick them up. Now, in the movie, he strapped dynamite to his chest. What I did was I added some of that blue tack that you would hang up posters, and I just stuck it to his chest because I didn't want a permanent fixture. But he's got this bundle of dynamite, which looks like it might be the same stuff that they're going to put with the future Gremlins. He comes with the blood Petri dish with the Palmer name, and then the blood effect coming off of it, which is real pliable on the tips. I'm not sure if it has any expression. It's just kind of like a splash of blood lifting out of it. Man, that is so cool. I don't want my fingers taking up the whole shot. But man, that is so cool. A tiny little Petri dish with Palmer. And you can take this off. So you can just have the Petri dish. And it's gone. You can just have him holding it, and this is another thing they did which was fantastic. They give you a brand new set of hands, one hand to grip the Petri dish, and the other hand to grip the spindle with the metal cable. And what I did is I painted it silver when he scrapes off the red, the plastic around the wire, just to give it a little better look. But yes, the spindle is all red. And then they give you a new alternate hand right here to hold the spindle. So you get two new looks as far as the hooded expression and then the worried expression. You get the two new, brand new, I think three maybe. Did he come with this hand before? I think three brand new hand sculpts. This one holds this little ice pick. Really good detail work. And obviously the Petri dish, the blood, the spindle. The holster is new. And what I love about the holster is it's a floating piece that just literally attaches there. Some people said their holster popped off. It looks like it's just literally glued onto the belt. But the belt is just a floating piece, which is great because if you didn't like the belt for whatever reason, you could take it off. But I love how it's got bullets sculpted and painted in there. Again, for the price point, I think NECA is absolutely killing the competition. The only thing close to it is McFarlane Toys. And for their price point, they have $20 to $25 figures with, I think, more stubborn articulation. And the paint apps for their price point are embarrassingly lacking. I mean, it's bad. I'll show you an example of NECA's paint apps being amazing. But this revolver, look at it. It looks crisp. Look at that. Fantastic for a little piece. You get this flame effect, so you can have him shooting flame, or you pop it out and you can just have him holding the flamethrower with no flame effect. And this grips in his hand easily. And it's got a little handle like this, a little flat handle. The flamethrower looks, because of the way it's shaped, at certain angles, it'll look like it's bent, but it's actually just the way it's shaped. Real good dry brushing on that flamethrower. You got a pliable hose, and let's take it off. You can just move his arms back. Nice stiff articulation, so he's going to stay in place. And you pull this through. Let's see what I'm doing. I got to look off camera to do that. And then you take this right off his back. Why do I feel like I'm getting hung up on some? And then here's where it's really impressive, especially if you collect McFarlane as well as NECA. McFarlane will release $25 figures that are so lacking in paint and accessories and alternate heads and hands, and you get stuff like this. Not only are these little wires painted, these are painted and that's sculpted in. But they are literally like little metal wires, like bread tie type wires, or the wire in bread ties, and they're painted brown. So not only are they painted, but they're actual friggin' wires. I don't want to press on it too much, but they're actual wires. Like, holy shit. And it looks great. I mean, that looks fantastic. That little detail there just impressed the shit out of me. The eyelets are all painted. This is painted. I mean, McFarlane would just have all this one color. The buckles are painted. The differences in the straps are painted. The eyelets are painted. There's actual straps here, and the top's painted. It's got a little bit of metal scrapes, like wear and tear, and a tiny bit of rust around the rim. I mean, really subtle paintwork. Let me focus so I'm not making it all blurry. Real subtle paintwork, some really fine detail in the sculpt with the screws, the nozzles. I mean, they did an amazing job. It is incredible. I do want to go in here and add a little bit more rust, because I think on the screen accurate one is a lot more rusty on the bottom. But look at that wire, that rod work here. And again, these are colored and different, just very impressive. So here's the flamethrower set. Very, very impressive. And then here's just Mac with his body. The same as before, but you're getting the flamethrower, the belt holster with gun, the ice pick, and 2 different alternate expressions on the head, the blood petri dish, the spindle, the blood effect, and the fire effect, and 2 or 3 possibly, I think it's 3 brand new hand sculpts. No, here, they did give you this one. So you get 2 brand new hand sculpts, which are the ones that hold the petri dish and the spool. So you get enough difference, in my opinion. I know people are railing because they released this figure twice, but this figure came loaded with all of this. Look, you get 2 alternate heads, you get a shotgun, you get, I think, 3 or 4 alternate bare hands, you get 2 alternate gloved hands. So he's wearing 2 in the box, and he comes with 2 to switch out. You get a lamp, you get a glass for his drink, and then the bottle to drink out of. Here's another little tip too. Go to Walmart for $1. You can put all your accessories in here. Here's what the big one I use for my alternate heads, for my NECA heads. I want to show you this as well. If you missed the review of the first version, the gloved hand comes off, and you're going to want to take this little piece off that is the rest of the glove, and that'll expose the sleeve of the jacket, and then you plug the bare hand directly into that. So I got both the hands off. You'll take the bare hand and just pop it directly into the sleeve jacket and leave that black part off. And then there you go with Macready in his bare hands. Take that petri dish. You can pop the blood effect directly on him. I'm pretty sure the best way to do it is this way. Leave a little bit of gap there. And it literally, because of the friction, it pops right on there. And then you're going to want to just slide that in his hand. And again, you got to be careful with it. Shit. Let me do his articulation in case you missed the first one, and then we'll do the petri dish. But same thing with the original. His head goes up and down a good amount because they did this really clever way to give him kind of like hat hair, but for the collar. And not only does it look organic, but it is great with the articulation. Flexible or pliable, I don't know, strands or the 2 sides of hair, so he can actually turn his head, and you can tilt his head and it'll stay in place. So you have the up and the down, you have the side and the side, and all around. I don't believe the neck is a separate joint. That would have been a nice for a little bit of extra movement. His arms can go up a decent amount. You got to kind of wear it in a bit. He is a touch stiff, which isn't a bad thing for posing. And they have a decent sculpt here where it bows out, so you can get a little past 90 degree of a bend. That keeps the sculpt looking nice without adding that double articulation. Some people don't like that look on more movie realistic figures. You got waist that will spin. I wouldn't worry about doing a crunch, although there is a crunch there. Yeah, there damn sure is a crunch there. I don't know how well on camera it's showing, but he will get a bit of a attitude movement there. They utilize the best hip, I don't know, engineering so far. I know the previous Predator, Pennywise, the older NECA figures were good, but the hips sucked. They just sucked. They started utilizing these just recently, last 2 years, and this is the perfect hip joint. They need to keep this and never do anything different, or at least never go back to the old ones, because these are perfect. Even when they remake modern figures, they need to, like, if they redo a different Pennywise, they won't, but they need to do this, because these are great. No more of that wonky legs, because the old one was just this little male-female pin thing they had going on. So you have a good amount of range up. You got enough range back. You don't even need that much. You only have a 90-degree bend in the leg, but I'm not really sure you need much more than that. And the articulation makes it look like folds. It's a good green. On camera, it always looks like a more puke green than it is. But I think if you did, and I'm going to be doing a new repaint on this, that's the word I'm looking for, to darken these, dirty these up a little more, just with some black charcoal. I think I'm going to use a small amount to just dust it on. Anyhow, and then you have his boots, nice sculpt and paintwork on his boots, and he's got the up and the forward and back motion with some side to side with the rocker here. Oh, he's got a little spin at the top of the boot as well, but he's got this rocker, so you can get him positioned in certain ways. If you want to do a split, I'm not really sure if you need to, but that's how he moves around. And I might as well just show you, they do give you the hooded, relaxed expression. So if you do want this look with the flamethrower, you are all set. However, if you did want the hat, if anything, if you did want to pop the hat on him, you will have to buy the hat with the original release, which is the Outpost version. He wasn't wearing the hat for some of it, though, so you don't technically need it. I think they did a great job. I don't understand the complaints here. If they would have combined all of this into one box, you would have been paying $50 anyway. So sure, they would have saved you $10, but how many people out there would have bought it all? And with that many switch outs, not bought another one just to have the body? I don't know. And here he is. Being a big movie fan, I was just introduced to these figures. Well, it's going on a few years now, maybe 5 years ago. And at first it was just, maybe a Jason for, being a horror fan, just having a Jason character on the shelf. But now that it's been a few years, I absolutely love these NECA movie characters, especially from my all-time favorite movie. It just looks so cool. The character from the movie in a pose that represents the movie with the petri dish, the blood effects coming out. He's holding the spool. He's got his flamethrower. I believe he tucked it under his arm. But just the work they did creating this character for the price point, again, $30 for the price point. I believe with the current situation of the economy, the price point's going to average out around 35 to 40 on the regular, which is a shame though, because for these characters, for him, if he released and that's the price, I'd pay $40 for him as my all-time favorite movie. 40 for Jason Part 7, absolutely. But then when you get to some characters where it's like 40 for The Boys, for example, I would have definitely just waited for clearance. So I think anything past $40, NECA runs the risk of pricing themselves out of their own consumer base, which is a shame. But with this and with a few others, definitely well worth the money. Fan-friggin-tastic. And I think that's another thing with The Boys. You only got like 2 heads and like a eye blast effect or something, maybe alternate hands, but it wasn't much at all. This guy comes loaded with some extras that makes it awesome for the display. But yeah, so there he is. You can have him in multiple different display options. There, we got him with his shotgun. And, oh, I forgot. Take his, like I said, a little bit of blue tack. Take his dynamite. On the movie, or in the movie, he puts, I think it's like 2 packs of dynamite. It sticks, though. I don't think he puts a bundle. He might, but I think he's holding a bundle with him when he's threatening them. But then he's putting sticks all over his body. But yeah, so that's a Macready, man. So many different options you can utilize. There's still a ton of different accessories. You can still do the goggled version with the first release with the hat. Actually, I already have that on display. Never mind. The figure's a must-get, especially if you're a fan of The Thing. Highly recommend. I extremely disagree with the people saying that they shouldn't have released the second one, or they should have only released one, which would be the second one with the flamethrower. I totally disagree, because that means we wouldn't get the hat, the multiple different hood expressions, the shotgun, lamp, and everything else. And this version is my favorite, though, with the flamethrower. I think if you were only going to get one, I would bite down and just get the flamethrower. It's got everything that's iconic, and that's why they released it second, because they know every diehard, every fan was going to definitely grab a Macready figure, but you have to have all the iconic moments, the Petri dish, the spool, the flamethrower. So they knew if they released them in the other order, this is probably a maybe. If you already have him, So that's why they did it. They do it all the time. Every company does that. But anyhow, thoughts and opinions down below. I give them a high recommend.